Okay, no, just kidding. All right, hey everybody. Antonio here with another daily reminder for you. And today's daily reminder is know your numbers. A couple of weeks ago, I did a daily reminder entitled Stretch Yourself. And I'm proud to say, or proud to show, watch me now, watch this. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. So I know that probably doesn't mean anything to some of you, but for those of you who follow me every day, Naima, for those of you who watch me every day, you probably remember, or maybe you saw that episode, that I injured my arm or my shoulder specifically a while back. And through doing some very creative stretching, the bands, etc., I've regained a significant portion of my movement, flexibility, and wow, feels great. It feels really good. And that particular episode was about stretching yourself. It was about stretching yourself in any way, shape, or form to increase your range of motion. And whether that's in your relationship, whether it's in your business, whether it's in your health, stretch yourself, move yourself outside of your comfort zone. But today, I want to talk about the importance of knowing your numbers, monitoring your progress, because I can see, how far I can stretch my arm now versus how far I could stretch it before. I still have a little ways to go, but I mean, literally, this was like the highest I could raise it at one time. Well, really, couldn't even raise it at one time. So to be able to do this right now is just, that's just exciting. It's just really exciting. But the idea of this is being able to have some way to know that you're improving. And for me, it was not being able to turn on the studio lights and then not being able to reach. There's a certain shelf that I kept things and I had to move it a shelf down to get to things. But now I can reach that top shelf again. And it just made me really think about, it's like, wow, there's progress. There's progress. And it's important to recognize that progress in your life. That's a very important thing to do, because it's easy to get caught up and focus on, oh, these things aren't going well for me. Oh, this bad thing happened. Oh, this isn't working out. It's very easy to focus on that. And we sometimes overlook the progress that we're making in our lives. Maybe your finances aren't where you want them to be, but are you better off than you were a year ago? Maybe your relationship may not be exactly what you wanted to be, but is it in a better place than it was at some other time? Stopping for a moment and recognizing how far you've gone, how far you've stretched is important. It's very important because it keeps you going. It keeps you moving forward. It keeps you progressing when you're able to recognize those things. But the other thing it does is that it also allows you to make adjustments if you need to. So let's say I was losing range of motion. Let's say I was losing flexibility in my arm, whereas I was able to reach a certain thing and then I wasn't. And then it was getting worse and worse. That now tells me I need to make an adjustment. I need to do something different. We see this a lot in marketing. As a business and marketing coach, I work with a lot of clients, and it's easy for clients to see a thing and not see the results they want. And the first thing that I always go to is, what are your numbers? What are your numbers? And typically, when we look at the numbers, they'll tell a very different story than what the client might have thought was going on. And that's so important when you're specifically when you're dealing with business. Knowing where your things are failing or knowing where something is failing can make a huge difference in the success or failure of a campaign. I'm often quoting Lord Calvin. He says, that which is not measured cannot be improved. And that's not just for business. That's not just for mathematics and science. That's also for your life. If you're, let's say you're wanting to lose weight, you can tell that you're losing weight by measuring yourself, by weighing yourself. Let's say you want to get stronger. You can measure yourself by knowing how much you're lifting, how many sets you've done, the weights that you're hitting. If you're wanting to improve any other area of your life, there's typically some measurement that you can take in consideration to show your progress. And it's important for you to know your numbers. Now, let's think about something that's a little bit less tangible than weight or strength. You might say, well, I want to improve my relationship. What are my numbers for a relationship with someone? What are my numbers? Well, what do you consider a successful relationship? What do you consider a successful relationship? Are you spending a certain amount of time together? Are you talking on the phone a certain period of time? Are you going out to eat a certain amount of times? Are you traveling, going on a certain amount of trips? Are you having sex a certain amount of time? What do you consider a successful relationship? Let's just say you've been in a rough patch in your relationship and there's a lot of arguments. Let's say last month you were arguing 2 or 3 times a week, but now you're arguing 2 or 3 times a month. That's progress. And that's important to know your numbers. And I can say to 99.999% certainty that everything has numbers. Now, and when I say numbers, I don't specifically mean numbers. You can use that as a form of measurement, but there are other forms of measurement that can tell you whether you're getting closer or further away from your goals. And like I said, that goes for everything. That goes for everything. Well, what about parenting, Antonio? How can you tell you're being a better parent? What are your numbers with parenting? There are tons of numbers. There are tons of numbers you can look at with parenting. How much time are you spending with your children? How many times are you and your children finding yourselves laughing? And how often are you going and doing just family things, going to the park, doing picnics, or the things that are most important to you, whether that's playing sports together, whether that's traveling together, reading a book together, whatever you consider being a successful parent. Maybe successful parent is your children getting good grades. Maybe that goes under your umbrella of being a successful parent. Maybe your idea of a successful parent is not having your kids kicked out of school for, I don't know, whatever. But whatever you desire, there's some type of measurement for it. There's some type of measurement for it, especially if you're willing to look for it. Well, I'm telling you, you can't really measure happiness. Yeah, you can. Yeah, you can measure happiness because there are things that make you happy. Are you experiencing those things more than things that rob you of happiness or things that you tend to give your happiness up for? Or are you spending more time in those things that make you happy? I've got a program that I sell called Time Bank, primarily for entrepreneurs, time management for entrepreneurs, but it even expands beyond entrepreneur space. It helps to create the life you want. And with Time Bank, one of the things you do is you monitor your time throughout the day and you categorize it based on your categories in your life. So, what does that look like? Do you find yourself doing things that bring you joy more so than things that don't. There's a measurement. There's a measurement to happiness with that. So today's daily reminder, know your numbers. Know your numbers. What do you desire in any area of your life? And how do you define success in that area? And I'm going to guarantee you that there are going to be some numbers or some form of measurement that you can look at that lets you know where you are on the spectrum of getting towards success or less than success in that area. So that's it for today's daily reminder. Let's look at some other numbers. How many likes and hearts is this video going to get? How many comments is it going to get? That's the determination of success, knowing those numbers. So if you're watching this, I want to encourage you, click the like button, leave me a comment, just say, hey, Antonio, because that is a sign of success. Because guess what? Let's say I'm doing this and I'm doing this and I'm doing this, and I'm getting no responses. I'm getting no likes, no followers, no shares, no comments. Is that a success? Not really. Because yes, I do these daily reminders for myself, but I also do this to share this with other people because I want to help remind others. And if I'm not doing that, if I'm not doing a good job of doing it, then why would I continue doing it? Why would I continue doing it? So I would consider having likes, shares, comments a success. And I say it's an honor and privilege to have you listening and liking and sharing my stuff. So that's it for today's daily reminder, guys. Signing off.